I'd like to call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bono?
Present.
Mr. Fiocchi? Here. Mr. Harris?
Here.
Mr. Holmes?
Here.
Mrs. Perez?
Here.
Mr. Rivera?
Here.
Mr. Silva?
Here.
Mr. Sabrana?
Present.
Mrs. Cataspati?
Here. In compliance with the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law, commonly referred to as the Sunshine Law, the Vineland Board of Education has caused notice and posting of this meeting to be sent to the following, announcing time, place, agenda, etc. The Daily Journal, S&J Today, the Press of Atlantic City, Vista Bueno, the Clerk for the City of Vineland, and the Administrative Office Public Bulletin Board. Would everyone please rise for the flag salute? At this time, I'm going to ask that we have a moment of silence for the two young men who died from Delsey Regional and the one from Winslow Township. Mr. Mustarell, do we have a resolution for executive session?
We do. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education of the City of Vineland School District will convene an executive session for the following reasons as outlined in NJSA 10:4-12. Discussion is about employment matters and any matters falling within the attorney-client privilege to the extent that confidentiality is required in order for the attorney to exercise her ethical duties as a lawyer.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call?
Second. Mr. Bono?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mrs. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana?
Yes.
Mrs. Cataspati?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Mr. Yano, do we have any special presentations this evening?
Yes, we do. We have a few this evening. First, I would like to invite Mr. Sylvester Cifilalio, Director of our athletics program. He will present the winter sports wrap-up.
Good evening. Thank you to the Board of Education and our central administrators
for inviting our VHS athletes to share their accomplishments with you from this past winter season. Tonight is for our seniors, and all of our senior athletes are here, but I'm really proud to see all of our coaches here, and all of our underclassmen are also here to support their senior teammates. So we're really happy, really proud to see you all here. Thank you. Okay, I'll jump right into it with boys basketball. Our boys basketball team is led by head coach Dan Russo. There were 54 participants this year. The team won 15 games and qualified for the state Group 4 playoffs. Those 15 wins, if you look back at our past 25 seasons of boys basketball, that ranks in the top 5 of our most successful seasons. So another big positive there. We beat a private school for the first time in 12 years, and that's not something that happens very often in the sport of basketball in South Jersey, but we did beat Holy Spirit on a Friday night at home. It was a great night. I feel like the whole student body was there. Many of our board members and central administrators were there, so thank you for that. Some individual highlights. Our sophomore, James Lawson, set the all-time VHS scoring record in a single game with 60 points. Sophomore Ricardo Johnson led all of South Jersey in block shots. So the future's bright. That's 2 sophomores that really made their name in South Jersey this year. Our seniors, and we're going to call all our seniors up at the end for one big group picture, guys. So with our seniors, first team all-conference was Jack Barufi. Honorable mention for the conference was Noah Sarnoff. We also had Seth Soupy, Darius Farrell, Tayshawn Seegers, and Dakota Folks. Okay, moving on to girls basketball with first-year head coach Ashley Cornwall. There were 36 members of the girls basketball team. They won 11 games this year, and in Coach Cornwall's first year with her staff, that 11 wins is actually the total of the previous 2 seasons combined. So a great first season for her. The girls made the Group 4 playoffs. Some individual highlights, Takira Tucker and Brittany Herbert each had over 150 rebounds. And Brittany Herbert had 104 steals. So, anybody who watches sports, those are hustle plays. Those, rebounds, steals, that's about heart and determination. The seniors on the team, Leo Aldoy, Gabriella De La Rosa, Kamara Doyle, Brittany Herbert, Miley Rivera, Jasira Spencer, and Julissa Vicente. Okay, our cheerleading squad. We had a really young group of winter cheerleaders this season. As you see, we only have 2 seniors, but the focus for our cheerleaders was on improving. They were at all of our senior nights for girls basketball, boys basketball, wrestling. Very positive, very loud. The fans loved them. The 2 seniors for winter cheer were Siani Gomez and Geraldine King. Okay, boys swim. This is one of our hardest working groups. 27 members of the boys swim team led by Coach Sarah Bennett. 14 players achieved varsity status. 17 were at the South Jersey qualifier meet, and 12 were at the Cal qualifier meet, where everyone achieved their best times. Our seniors on the boys swim team, Tyler Chong, Nick Monero, Hayden Bertinazi, Robbie Chapdelaine, and Noel Ochoa Martinez. Okay, girls swim. We'll start with our head coach, Mike Schneider. And if you guys remember from the fall, we had our boys soccer coach, Paul Myers, was nominated for South Jersey Coach of the Year. And this year, Michael Snyder has been nominated for swimming, South Jersey Swimming Coach of the Year. There were 30 girls on the team that advanced all the way to the South Jersey Finals. We defeated Kingsway in the first round, defeated the defending champion, EHT, in the second round. Meet of champion qualifiers in the 200 relay, the 100 butterfly, the 500 freestyle, the 200 freestyle, and the 400 free relay. The team was led by Ava Smith, who was an All-American, all-conference American first team winner. And the seniors on the team were Gabby Brown, Elena Bono, Ava Cohen, Ileana Figueroa, Ava Smith, and Aliana Tu. Okay, as we move on to wrestling, I want to thank, again, the Board of Education and Central Administration for their support as we were able to add a second assistant coach to the wrestling program this year. As we can see the beginning of, we have a lot of females coming out for the team. So much like we did with golf last year, adding an extra coach gives our females the opportunity to compete and maybe one day have their own team. There were 56 members on the team this year. Those numbers are going up and up and up. You see some of our leaders in individual records. Chase Boardley, freshman, he advanced to the sectionals. And then at 145 pounds, it was sophomore female Exodus Hollander, who was 10-5 and was top 6 in South Jersey. She was the first ranked female wrestler in school history. Also, for the wrestling team, the athletics department, we nominated Chad Shore as the Winter Cape Atlantic League Scholar Athlete. And because of that, Chad will be receiving a $500 scholarship from the NJSIAA. He has a 4.7 GPA, and he's going to graduate with 68 credits. Senior wrestlers, Everett Kronk, Noah Cruz, Alejandro Calderon, Jasael Diaz, Noel Drummond, Joe Egbe, Alfred Garcia, Lionel Powell, Chad Shore, Matt Torres, Nathan Travelli, Ali Parent, and Haley Tagmini. Okay, winter track and field is always one of our biggest programs. We had 120 participants. So you'll see some other big numbers. 82 medals won indoor, 6 indoor school records broken, 3 outdoor records broken. And of course, we all probably follow Coach DeShields on social media. He lets us all know about the successes of his team. Of course, Vineland Athletics, Facebook, and Instagram also shares it. Group 4 sectional champions, Georgina Shallow in the 1600, Ashlyn Newton in the 3200, Mackenzie Shallow Moore was 6th place in pole vault. Georgina Shallow was also 6th place in the Group 4 finals. And you see it goes on and on. Meet of Champions 4x800 team was 9th overall with the new school record. The seniors for winter track, Jason Arbona, Kylie Black, Skylar Brooks, Georgina Shallow, Mackenzie Shallow Moore, Kareem Foster, Addison Mansell, Leah Mears, Ashlyn Newton, Jamon Bennett, Mike Dutton, Zayon Evans, Rosa, Dolce Flores, Zaria Gold, Natalia Kobes, Elijah Milborn, and Jalexis Rodriguez. Okay, before I preview the spring, which practices already started this past Monday, none of these games or events are possible without our athletic trainers, athletic maintenance, security, and transportation. Those are our spring sports: baseball, softball, girls and boys track and field, boys tennis, lacrosse, boys golf, girls golf, middle school boys track and field. We also have boys and girls crew. Some big events: our Hall of Fame ceremony is on April 10th, and our athletic senior banquet is on May 29th, both in the VHS Acelta building. At this time, we'd like all senior athletes to come up to the front so we can take a picture, you guys, for all our social media pages.
Thank you, Coach Schiff and our athletics department for a wonderful presentation. It's always exciting to see our students excelling and participating and doing wonderful things for our community. At this time, I would like to ask Mrs. Suzette DeMarchi, our Executive Director for Curriculum and Instruction. She will be highlighting the VHS Course Selection Guide and Advanced Placement Programs and Gifted and Talented Programs. Mrs. DeMarchi.
Thank you. Good evening, Ms. Cadaspati, Mr. Sabrana, and board members, Mr. Yano, Central Administration, and community members. This evening, we have some exciting academic updates that we'll be sharing. We will be highlighting our VHS Course Selection Guide for the 25-26 school year. I do have Dr. Stanger here. He will be highlighting our advanced placement courses. And I have Mr. Martin and Ms. Manone, who will be highlighting our gifted and talented program at our elementary schools. To begin our course selection guide, if you were to click on the link that says guide, it would take you directly to our updated handbook for the 25-26 school year. It definitely took a facelift this year, so lots of great updates to the handbook. It can also be found on our Vineland High School website under the counseling tab, the school counseling tab. If you click on quick links and then course selection, the whole catalog and the presentation that was shown to our students is right there. First thing that we would like to highlight in our course selection guide is the 9th grade academy. There is a full description and course offerings that will be offered to our incoming 9th grade students for the 25-26 school year. They are the class of 2029. Mr. Adams did present at the last board meeting about our 9th grade academy. This full description and overview reiterates his presentation for our families. So we do encourage all of our incoming freshman families to take a moment and review the VHS handbook. Something else that's new is our academic flowcharts that you will find within our course selection guide. Our instructional supervisors have worked very hard to ensure that we created flowcharts for our core 4 areas, our ELA, our math, our science, as well as our social studies. What I want to point out here is that in our ELA flowchart, it actually starts in 6th grade. So for students and families that would like to really begin their high school academic planning, they can begin as early as 6th grade to see the flow and the various course offerings that their child could take. So this is an ELA example, as well as a math, and again, there's also social studies and science that are incorporated in the handbook. So I know this is very exciting to many of you, is financial literacy. And I wanted to really focus on the last sentence. It says, beginning with the Vineland High School class of 2029, students will be required to take a standalone financial literacy course. This course will be offered starting their 10th grade year. The financial literacy standards are still throughout our various course offerings. However, for our incoming students, our incoming 9th grade, they will be required for graduation to take a standalone financial literacy class, which I think is definitely critical for all students to take for their future. The next academic highlight is our AP offerings, and at this time I'd like to turn this presentation over to Dr. Stanger.
Thank you, Mrs. DeMarchi, members of Central Administration, the board members, and members of the community. Thank you so much for the opportunity to present our AP program this evening. AP testing is essentially a high school level class that is comparable to an introductory, it's a high school class rather, if I misspoke, that's equivalent to an introductory college level course. Each course culminates in an exam which is standardized across all students in all 50 states that take the course. Vineland offers 26 different AP courses in the areas of math, English, science, social studies, art, music, and computer science. And in addition to that, we are also what's called a capstone school. Capstone courses incorporate two different courses called AP Seminar and AP Research, which are essentially courses that students take that are individualized and based around a problem that the students research, and then they ultimately will research the problem and some potential solutions. And we were one of the first schools in New Jersey to be awarded the opportunity to teach AP Capstone. At the time, we were the only district south of Burlington to be able to offer that. And in addition to that, the College Board offers us the opportunity to provide students with what's called an AP Capstone diploma, which again helps our students to be differentiated from other high school seniors when applying to college, and it just further shows college admissions offices and college admissions officers that our children have gone above and beyond and come from a very highly reputable high school that offers this type of rigor. So I'm very proud to be able to say that we do offer AP Capstone. And again, we do offer one of the largest selections of AP courses in New Jersey. We don't offer every single AP course, but we've come a very long way in terms of from where we started to where we are now. Exams are scored on a scale of 1 to 5, and a score of 3 or higher shows, it rather equates to passing. If you look at the last 3 years, we've pretty much increased coming out of the pandemic from 40% passing, 41, 40, and then 45. So we do well in terms of our total percentage of students scoring. But just to give you a little idea of where we started, when I started in the position of overseeing AP, we offered 13 courses. And again, as a reminder, we now offer 26. We offered those courses to 82 students, and they took 168 exams. But since that time, right now we're looking at 313 students and 532 exams that those students will take. And thankfully, members of the board have been willing to pay for the students to take those exams. So every time a student passes one of these tests, it's essentially free college credits that the students don't have to pay for and the parents don't have to pay for. We do offer a website for parents and members of the community that is listed under our curriculum website for parents and students who want to learn more about what to bring to AP testing and how to be successful and how to study. So that pretty much covers AP testing. But at this point, I'd like to turn the presentation over to Mr. Jeffrey Martine, who's going to be speaking on behalf of himself and Ms. Jenna Minone, who are our two new gifted and talented teachers. Before they begin, I just wanted to offer a brief thank you to both of them, as well as to Mrs. DeMarchi and Mr. Yano, and also you, members of the board, for your willingness to trust me and trust us in the process of overhauling our gifted and talented program, which we really have done over about the past year. Mr. Martine and Ms. Minone have been absolutely integral in doing that and have been doing, in my opinion, an absolutely wonderful job of providing gifted and talented services to our children. And thank you, personally, from me, thank you so much for all you've done. Jeff, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Stanger, and Ms. DeMarchi as well, and Mr. Yano and the Board of Education. Ms. Minone and I are really appreciative of all the support that we've been receiving for this new program, and we're just very excited to pioneer something new and exciting in Vineland. So it's my pleasure to talk about our Gifted and Talented program and all of the amazing things our students have been doing. So quite a bit is new with how we're servicing our gifted and talented students this year. We've developed criteria for screening our students, a new curriculum that's been super exciting implementing, as well as instructional practices that are kind of reinventing a lot of exciting opportunities for our students. We've developed a manual as well as a pacing guide for each grade level of instruction. So Ms. Manon and I have been hired and trained to provide targeted instruction for our gifted and talented elementary school students on specific days at Rossi and Sabatier schools respectively. So my students come from the east side of town and come from Petway, Menny's, Rossi, and Winslow, and Ms. Manon caters the other side of town, which is Durand, DePalito, Barcy, and Sabatier. Instructions on scheduled days, so Monday we have second graders, Tuesday we have third, Wednesdays fourth, and Thursdays fifth. On that fifth day Friday, we are doing basic skills instruction, so we have a lot of opportunities to differentiate instruction and also implement what we're doing with our gifted and talented students in a lot of ways to our general education students at our respective schools as well. So for choosing our gifted and talented students, there's quite a bit that went into the development of the criteria. For one thing, we use our HMH growth measures for math and ELA, and that's just to get a baseline on how they're performing academically in both of those areas. We also look at their reading ability through assessing their Dibble scores, and Ms. Manon and I helped a lot with our home schools as well in getting those assessments completed, as well as a test of nonverbal intelligence, or the TONY 4. And it essentially measures your problem-solving abilities and reasoning skills, but in order to be equitable in our practice, it can be given completely non-verbally if needed. Ms. Manon and I gave the assessment to students who speak English and Spanish as well, and Ms. Manon at least has a sizable population from our English language learner population. And we also look at state assessment data from grades 3 to 5. And the whole idea here is to get a pretty complete picture of the academic profile of our students. In terms of curriculum, like I said, it's a lot of hands-on, project-based, student-centered topics that we work on with our students. So it's very research-oriented, so our students are building those skills that are going to be essential for 21st century skills and a career after Vineland Public Schools. We're doing a lot of engaging and exciting activities with them each week, whether it's a STEM building challenge or a deep dive in Vineland's history. Our students are really benefiting from curriculum that's custom tailored to develop their skills. We encourage independent exploration and discovery as well, and many of our units are actually aligned to Portrait of a Graduate competencies. So with project-based learning, we're not scheduling out 40 minutes math time, 40 minutes ELA. It's a project that our students are able to apply interdisciplinary skills and interests in. So a lot of our students like to decide how they're going to be presenting the material that they're learning. So some students like to do a Google slide presentation. Some students enjoy working on a poster with markers and crayons, and other students will build a diorama. So we kind of let them have free rein in how they choose to deliver the material, and then we hold them accountable with a rubric that often the students create themselves. And in this way, we're giving them the agency and the freedom to have a role in their own education, so that going forward, they're able to apply those skills in the real world. So our program provides a rigorous curriculum and encouraging and supportive environment where students are challenged to reach their full potential. And that's something that we're very adamant about, doing your best, doing the work, and applying that growth mindset. And if something is challenging, we encourage them to keep on working. So these are just some examples of some units of study that we're doing, and they're all guided by a central question. For second grade, they were studying the life cycle of the bee, the role of the bee in our ecosystem, and that central question is, where have all the bees gone? So our second graders, they're tiny, but they're fierce, and they know quite a bit about our environment, our ecosystem, after having completed our unit on bees and where they've gone. Third grade, we've been working on growth mindset, and our students were actually able to turnkey what they've learned and did presentations to other classrooms at both Rossi and Sabatier. So they were able to apply what they learned in an action-oriented way and really engage with other students and show them what they've learned. Fourth grade, we've been doing a lot of STEM and engineering challenges with our Collaboration Conundrum unit, and our fifth grade did a deep dive of the brain. Everything I'm talking about you'll be able to see weekly with our newsletters that Ms. Manon and I put together, and Ms. Missouri puts out to the district in her newsletter. And we do engage a lot with our families in our communities. Ms. Moon and I are very accessible, as well as Dr. Stanger and Ms. DeMarchi, to our parents. So any kind of concern, and we've been able to deal with swiftly, and we especially appreciate the building administrators for their help in that area as well. We have opportunities for guest speakers. I know Mr. Holmes came for our Read Across America, and of course, if anyone is wanting to come in and chat with our kids, they'd love to have you. This is just an example of part of our newsletter. We do a Continue the Conversation segment, and we talk about, just ways that you can engage with your students at home. So this is really geared towards our parents, so they're able to engage with their students about what they're learning in G&T. And so that's about it. So again, we're really appreciative and just super excited to continue doing great things for our students. And we're, very appreciative of Dr. Stanger, Ms. DeMarchi, and, all you guys. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the presentation. It was very informative. Thank you, Dr. Stanger, Mr. Martin, Ms. Manon, and Mrs. DeMarchi. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Mustarell, the one and only school business administrator, who will present the 2025-2026 preliminary school district budget. He enjoys a round of applause as he approaches the podium.
Thank you. Board members, Mr. Yano, Central Administration, public. So I'm going to propose the 25-26 proposed school district budget. Basic overview is we have a budgeting process, historical summaries, proposed revenues, proposed tax levy, proposed appropriations, and budget highlights. The process that we follow is administrative budget planning meetings. We meet with principals with accounting for school-based budgets, supervisor and department heads meeting with myself and my assistant business administrator for district budget, and review of preliminary budget with board members to discuss increases, decreases, proposals, and initiatives. Our enrollment did dip a little bit based on, this is our projection for next year based on the ASSA at October 15th. So what we're proposing for 25-26 is a 6% increase in tax levy, as it has a compounding effect going forward. The tax levy would be $34.3 million, and we'll talk about that later on in the presentation. Medicaid dipped down from $422,000 to $80,000, just about, due to federal adjustments, regulations. State aid, I'm happy to announce, did increase by $9,014,000. Miscellaneous revenue is pretty much stagnant, and use of fund balance or excess surplus did go up by $3.4 million and change. Our total budget, total general fund budget will be about $210 million. Grants will be almost $28 million for a total budget of around $238 million, based on last year's $224 million. This is basically a picture of what we just discussed. You can see state aid makes up 76% and change of the revenues that run our district. So the state has a computation, they call it local fair share. The state says our local fair share is $90,757,911, which is to say that the state says we should, that's how much our tax levy should be for the school system. Our proposed tax levy is $34.3 million, which means, according to the state's calculation, we're undertaxed by $56 million municipal-wide. That's about 62% lower than what we should be. So talking about the tax rate, our ratables are just about $4 billion for the entire city, $3,991,000 and change. The average home assessment, as given to me by the tax assessor, is $162,301. I had already mentioned that our tax rate is proposed at $34,306,047. The tax rate is now going to be 0.8596, which is an increase of 4.87 cents. That's 6%. So how does this affect me? That's what you're asking yourself, right? So this is going to affect you. If you have a home worth $162,000, it's going to affect you by $78.97. It's a little over $6 a month. I think it's poignant to point out the tax rate and what makes up the tax rate. So 2024 is the last information we have in total. The county is at 1.235 cents, which is 38.79% of the total tax rate. Our school tax is 0.811, was 0.811. That's 25.47% of the tax rate. And the municipality is at 1.138, which is 35.74% of the tax rate. So basically, in your average district, your tax rate for school is going to be somewhere between 45 and 55%. Vineland is at 25.4%. The other 74.53% is between municipality and the county. So the county is 52% higher than us, and the municipality is 40% higher than us. We broke down the budget appropriations by cost center. So you'll notice that the regular instructional is the lion's share at $54 million, special education is $24.5 million, support services are $16.7 million, tuition is $13.5 million, that'll include charter, inclusion. Administrative services, central services is $14.4 million, facilities is just over $17 million, security is $3.5 million, transportation is $14 million, benefits and taxes, $47 million, clubs and sports is $1.7 million, and capital outlay is $4.7 million. So the total for 25-26 appropriations is $212 million for just the general fund. Now, you may ask yourself, I thought you just told me the budget was going to be $210 million. On a revenue side, it is $210 million. We get an additional $2 to $3 million from ESEA, Title I, Title IIA, that contributes to our district budget, and that's what makes up the difference. Again, just a graph of the information we just covered. You'll see regular instruction, categoricals make up 26% of the entire budget, and benefits make up 22%. I got a better picture here next. Yep. So salaries and benefits. Salaries and benefits make up just about $150 million of that $210 million budget we're talking about. That's 70.6%. The other $62 million is other costs. It's everything other than salaries and benefits. So you can see that we're salary heavy, not heavy, we have a lot of salaries in the district. Budgetary changes. So contractually, we have bargaining units. The net increase due to salaries, when you talk about contractual obligations and breakage and retirements and attrition, will probably net out to about $1.8 million. We have some contingencies at $350,000. Our health benefits hospitalization insurance is going up by 7%. What does that mean? That's almost $2 million. If you remember, the tax rate increase at 6% is going to be $2.2 million. So that tax rate just barely covers the increase in our hospitalization, let alone everything I'm about to cover. Prescriptions are going up, I just found out yesterday, by 19.75%. That's almost 1.5 million. Dental premiums are pretty stagnant. Our Chapter 7844, that's what our employees contribute to their health benefits. Obviously, if premiums are going to go up, that's going to go up. Sick and vacation time buyout, that needs to go up by 150,000 based on historical data. PERS payment, this is our pension payment to the state. Inevitably, it goes up 300,000 every year. Our non-health insurances, I was told are going up by 11%. That's about 350,000. Tuitions are going up. Vocational one-to-one aids, charter schools are going up by 676,000. We have tuition changes for special ed, DCF, homeless, etc. That's going up by 685,000. Preschool inclusion amount is going to go up by 466,000. We're going to add technology coaches. It's in conjunction with a grant that we're receiving for Chromebooks for the students and staff at the middle schools. We are adding a bilingual teacher due to the numbers. I believe that's at Sabatier. One of our bus lease purchases, we have bus lease purchases coming all the time to buy new buses. This one is expiring this year. I just paid the last payment, so next year I won't have to budget that. Out-of-district subcontractor bus routes. You know, we have staffing issues in transportation. We're not able to make all the trips ourselves, all the routes ourselves, so we have to subcontract out, especially with some special ed items, some placed students. So while we did budget $350,000, that's going up by $500,000 for next year, based on this year's data. We'll be able to reduce bus drivers by 3 people. It's not going to affect any jobs. It's not going to affect any people. It's just positions. Electric rates, there's a long, drawn-out discussion about that, but bottom line is we're going to be increasing electric rates by 22% due to PJM. Our electric bill is $4 million, so that equates to $850,000. Armed guards are still in the budget. However, we've reduced the scope. We originally planned for 10, 11-hour days. It's not conceivable that would happen, so we reduced it to an 8-hour day, and we were able to save $350,000. Back-end technology, replacing all our servers. We're looking at $760,000 over the next 5 years. It's a 0% finance, which is great. Panorama, some instructional software, that's going to cost us $85,000. We're adding 10 special ed classrooms to the tune of almost $1.8 million. We're adding some special ed resource room aides. We are reallocating resources at the 6th grade ICR level. We have a guidance counselor position that we'll be able to eliminate due to the dispersing of the BD program from one building. So nobody will lose their job. They'll be put into another school. Johnstone's social worker, we have to add that due to Johnstone's enrollment growing. We're adding a nurse at the Vineland High School North. We are adding behavioral consultation to our budget. That's $330,000. We're done paying for the remodel of the medical office at Vineland High School Tanner Building. Reducing an EIP by $143,000. Sabatier pool. So we had $2.9 million budgeted last year in our capital outlay. We're going to use that plus $950,000 to hopefully convert the Sabatier pool to classrooms. That's the plan. Reduction in some Fund 12 equipment. So we're getting an SDA grant as well, a little over $1.5 million. The cost of Duran's roof is going to be $1.55 million. So the grant is going to pay for $1.5 million of it. The additional $50,000 will cover in our district budget. The Palato and Rossi need brick encapsulation. I'm not going to go into what that is, but it's $200,000. Johnstone AP room divider, along with some HVAC units, $150,000. Some Sabatier and Delago security issues, guardrail and fencing, which will be an $80,000 addition to our budget. We want to irrigate the athletic fields out front of Vineland High School. It's $222,000. We want to replace the bleachers at Vineland High School, a Celta building, and we're hoping to add some scoreboards and a score table to the Vineland High School as well. So some of the budget highlights. School security, armed guards are remaining in the budget. We're purchasing a security vehicle to serve as a mobile command unit. We're implementing new emergency management software, which includes a reunification package. It integrates with all the current security and emergency services systems. Continuation expansion of visitor management software to include all schools. Transportation, we improved arrival and dismissal times with new route tiers. Ongoing efforts are to improve route efficiency are occurring. Partnership with Zoner to improve pre-trip procedures and improve system for parents and guardians to track buses and students. We're expanding our training program to include Class A and Class B permits. Student services. I mentioned before we're adding 10 classrooms to the special ed due to compliance. There's going to be 4 elementary autistic classes, which means 4 teachers, 8 aides. There's going to be 2 autistic classes at the secondary level. There's going to be a resource room at the elementary level, an LLD class at the elementary level, and 2 LLD classes at the secondary level. It comes to 10 teachers and 15 aides. Continued behavioral support through the contracted vendor for both general and special education. Additional classroom support through new positions of instructional aides and nursing position added at Vineland High School to the Tanner building. Facilities. I talked about the SDA grant that's going to cover our Duran roof. I talked about the bricks encapsulation for both Rossi and DePalato. I talked about Johnstone, the fencing and guardrail at Sabatier Delago. Talked about the pool, sectional asphalt replacement. There's going to be concrete repairs for slip, trips, and falls, and district-wide painting. We also mentioned the athletic facility upgrades, the field irrigation, and the Celta building bleachers. We're also going through an ESIP. It's an energy savings improvement plan. Basically, we're going to improve, for instance, we're going to replace all the lights in the district with LED. What's that going to do? It's going to save our energy costs. And in the meantime, it's going to pay for those upgrades. So we're just making the district more efficient, and that's going to pay for itself, basically. Some of the capital items, we have our communications equipment, the technology vehicle, we're budgeting, custodial cleaning equipment, maintenance, we talked about Johnstone, Sabatier, the athletic irrigation and the bleacher replacement. Construction is the encapsulation, the Duran roof, and the Sabatier instructional space. Let's talk about program and curriculum. Critical curricular resources and student options through the following activities. Continued focus on ELA and mathematics implementation in K-12. Support data-driven instructional decisions. Focused professional learning communities, PLC activities. Focus on improving instruction through evaluation rubric, upgrades, and training. Updated 2022 Danielson Teacher Evaluation Rubric, District Launch 25-26. Continue to provide professional development for all staff, district and service days for all staff. Implementation of the 9th grade academy at the Vineland High School. Continue to revise curriculum across content areas to meet state mandates. We're going to continue to implement our gifted and talented program in grades 2 to 8. We're going to continue to implement and expand advanced placement offerings at Vineland High School. Continue to focus on supporting our career and technical pathways for construction, agriculture, studio, graphic design, automotive, and health pathways. Continue to expand portrait of graduate implementation and articulation district-wide. We're going to continue to expand social and emotional learning support for students, including restorative practices. Continue to implement and expand STEM curriculum in the middle school with Project Lead the Way. Continue to implement career explorations in middle school. Continue to encourage and expand teacher advanced degrees programs, and expand college partnerships for students seeking early college credits. I want to thank the team. I want to thank the Board of Education for their support. I want to thank Mr. Yano, Mrs. Godlewski, Mrs. DeMarchi, Mr. Du Bois, and Mr. Bermudez. I want to thank my business office, Shannon Carey, David Hart, huge help in this process. Millie Torres, my accountant, of course. I can't leave out Kara Irvine, it's my left hand. And principals and supervisors played a huge role as well. So thank you to all of you. It's been a 3-month process, and I'll take any questions the board may have. I answered all your questions, I see. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mustarell.
Are there any questions or comments on the HIB report? Approval of minutes. Are there any questions or comments? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Bono,
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi,
Yes.
Mr. Harris,
Yes.
Mr. Holmes.
Yes.
Mrs. Perez.
yes,
Mr. Rivera.
Yes.
Mr. Silva.
Yes.
Mrs. Sabrana.
Yes.
Mrs. Cottospotty.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Mr. Rivera. Mr. Fiocchi?
I'm ready. Good evening. Start jamming out to that. Finance Committee met Tuesday, March 4th at 8 a.m. via Google Meet. In attendance was Mr. Mustarell and Mr. Yano, Ms. Carey, Mrs. Perez, Mr. Silva, Mr. Rivera, and myself. Following topics were discussed. $1.5 million SDA grant for Duran roof replacement. Bids, RFPs, contracts. RFP contracts for renewing contracts for 25, 26, none. New contracts, transportation jointure. Awarded RFPs, lease for 1350 Southwest Boulevard. Athletic field maintenance contract, substitute staffing services, carpet and flooring, technology services, and coming soon will be data analysis, alternative high school, and food service. Miscellaneous finance items, Cisco lease for back-end technology, ESIP approval, and property appraisals for Cunningham and Asher Road lots were received. Lastly, 25-26 budget review of state aid and budget summary. Thank you.
Mr. Holmes?
Curriculum and Instruction met on the 24th of February. Present were Superintendent Yano, Mrs. DeMarchi, Ms. Godlewski, Ms. Perez, Mr. Sobrana, Mr. Silva, and myself. We discussed the following topics: secondary grade guidelines, the CTE Carnival, which was well attended and a great event. Tonight's presentation was discussed. The dual enrollment grant update, the Verizon Innovative Learning Schools grant update, the High Impact Tutoring Grant, and Special Education Student Services updates. For transportation, we met on Tuesday, February 25th. Present were Mr. Superintendent Yano, Mr. Bermudez, Mr. Mustarell, Ms. Mason, Mr. Rivera, Mr. Bono, Mr. Harris, and myself. Driver recap: there are 143 drivers budgeted. There are 140 route packages, which is drivers needed. There are 135 field positions, 5 drivers on leave, 12 substitute drivers, and 4 drivers in training. The average absences in the morning of February 2025 was 24. The average absences in the afternoon of that month was 28. That has increased from 2024. We discussed the current number of open registrations and the number of registrations completed in February. We reviewed the current jointures and co-ops with other districts. We reviewed the number of accidents in February, which were 3 with no injuries to report. We discussed personnel items that are still in progress. No new business regarding vehicles or the garage. We updated the middle school boundary for grade 6, and that map is available to you in the minutes. The pilot with Zoner to demo new pre-trip procedure, and the use of MyView to allow parents and guardians to track buses. Lastly, we prepare for the preschool registration. Thank you.
Are there any other committee reports? Do we have a public meeting report by the board solicitor?
None, other than I hope everyone's enjoying this beautiful weather.
Thank you. Ms. Giuliani?
Good evening. My name is Michaela Giuliani, and I am the senior class president at VHS. The recent warm weather and time change have boosted morale around campus, and our activity mirrors it. As we heard from earlier from Athletic Director Mr. Schiff, our winter sports have concluded and our spring athletics have begun. Last week, the National Honor Society and SHAPE Club visited VPS elementary schools to read across America. On Monday, college or trade school-bound seniors submitted their applications for community scholarships. The recipients will be announced at the Merit Assembly in May. On Tuesday, class officers and student leaders met with Executive Director of Special Projects and Operations, Mr. Bermudez, to discuss improvements and future plans for VHS. The conversation was very productive, focusing most on how to build a stronger connection between the students, staff, and the Vineland community as a whole. Also this week, our junior class completed the NJ-GPA testing. On Thursday, our historical committee will be hosting their annual Hall of Honor ceremony, formerly known as the Wall of Warriors, honoring selected past VHS teachers for their dedication. It will start at 6 p.m. and be hosted in the Celta Building Media Center. Next week will also be quite busy. Early Sunday morning, members of the class of 2025 will be flying down to Florida for their senior class trip to Disney World and Universal Orlando. To be honest, I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. The select choir will be doing St. Patrick's Day singing grams on Monday, and on Thursday and Friday, the AP Government and Politics classes and Model Congress Club will be going to the New Jersey Model Congress Convention hosted at Rider University. All of the students participating have created a piece of mock congressional legislation, and on our last field trip to Rider in February, multiple students earned statewide leadership, including Chad Shore as Democratic Party leader, Adrian Conde as chairman of the Senate Commerce Committee, George Flores as chairman of the House Government Reform Committee, and myself as Senate president. Also next Friday, students and staff will participate in VHS's World Down Syndrome Awareness Buddy Walk throughout the day. This marking period is well on its way to the end, and soon we will be in the last quarter of the year, and I can't wait. Thank you so much.
Not have any yellow sheets. Would anybody from the public like to speak? Seeing none.
Superintendent recommendations?
Yes, thank you. Requesting discussion and approval regarding personnel item 1.1 as noted on our agenda.
Questions or comments? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Bono?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mrs. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Mr. Sobrana?
Yes.
Mrs. Codispoti?
Yes.
Motion carries.
I just want to say that we have a lot of retirees tonight, and when you add them up, it's approximately 414 years of service to this district, and I want to say thank you so much to all those who have put their names in for retiring. If you're here tonight, can you please stand, our retirees, our future retirees? Jeff, get up. Get up. Thank you.
At this time, please join me in congratulating Carly O'Donoghue for taking on the Mennies staff.
Good evening, everyone. Congratulations to Jeff and Carmi on your retirement. You're on the other end of this, but I know you have great plans in front of you. Good evening, members of the Board of Education, Mr. Yano, colleagues, friends, and family. I stand before you tonight with so much gratitude and excitement as I step into the role of principal of Dr. William Mennies School. It's truly an honor to continue serving this incredible school community in a new capacity, and I want to take a moment to express my deepest appreciation. First, I would like to thank the Board of Education, Mr. Yano, and his team for your trust and confidence in me. Your commitment to excellence in education and dedication to our students is truly inspiring. I'm eager to work alongside you in shaping the future of our school and district. To my colleagues, thank you all so much for being here. Teachers, staff, fellow administration, Ms. Lavazzoni, you are the heart of this school. Your dedication, passion, and tireless efforts do not go unnoticed. I have had the privilege of working with you as your vice principal, and I look forward to continuing our journey together as we strive to provide our students with the best possible learning environment. To the families and students of Dr. William Mennies School, you are the reason we all do what we do. I believe that a strong school is built on collaboration, respect, and a shared vision for success. As your principal, I promise to listen, support, and lead with integrity and compassion. Our students deserve nothing but the best, and I'm committed to ensuring that each child feels valued, supported, and empowered to reach their fullest potential. This achievement would not be possible without the love and support of my family. To my parents who are watching live from Florida, thank you for instilling in me the values of hard work, perseverance, and kindness. To my sister, Caitlin, thank you for always believing in me and cheering me on every step of the way. I appreciate all of our educational talks and how much we push each other to be the very best we can be. To my husband, James, your encouragement, patience, lots of patience, and support mean the world to me. I truly couldn't do this without you. And to my daughter, my Maggie Ann, you are my greatest inspiration. Everything I do is with you in mind, and I hope to set an example of dedication and passion for you to follow your dreams. As I step into this new role, my goal is to create a school environment that values excellence and new ideas. I will continue to champion student success, support our dedicated educators and staff, and build a strong relationship within our community. Together, we can create an environment where every student can thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. I am beyond grateful for this opportunity and eager to embark this journey. Thank you again for your trust and support. I look forward to leading Mennies with dedication, passion, and deep commitment to our students and their future. Thank you so much, and I'm so excited.
Request and discussion and approval regarding procedures and operations, items 2.1 through 2.8.
Any questions or comments? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Bono?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mrs. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana?
Yes.
Mrs. Cataspati?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Request and discussion and approval regarding buildings and grounds, items 3.1 through 3.4.
Questions or comments? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Bono?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mrs. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana?
Yes.
Mrs. Cataspati?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Request and discussion and approval regarding finance, items 4.1 through 4.22.
Questions or comments? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Bono?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
I need to recuse 4.18 and 4.20. Yes to the remaining items.
Thank you. Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mrs. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana?
Yes.
Mrs. Cataspati?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Regular agenda, none. There are no proposed items for review or discussion by the board members. Are there any questions or comments regarding the bills? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Bono?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes to all. I need to recuse myself from vendor number 1074 and 1333.
What was the first vendor number?
1074.
Thank you. Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mrs. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana?
Yes.
Mrs. Cataspati?
Yes.
Motion carries.
There are no emergent items. Old business, new business, board member comments. I'm going to start with Mr. Fiocchi.
Nothing at this time.
Mr. Holmes?
Okay, thank you to Duran for leading us tonight in our flag salute. Thank you to A.D. Schiff for your leading of the athletic department throughout this great winter season. Mrs. DeMarchi, Dr. Stanger, Mrs. Manone, Mr. Martin, thank you for your hard work with the G&T program. It's a great success. I was able to speak with those students last week, and they absolutely love the program, and I will continue to support it. Last but not least, thank you to Scott and his team for your hard work that you put into this budget. We certainly appreciate it. If you pay attention to the line items, it's evident that central administration's focus is on classroom and student achievement. Tonight, this board has the profound misfortune of approving the retirement of Mrs. Carmela Here, a 35-year veteran of this school district, beloved principal, lifelong teacher, and a dear friend. I also want to make mention of Mr. Du Bois, who has served this district for 25 years in many different capacities. Mr. Du Bois has always been a level-headed leader, able to adapt to diverse environments and take difficult tasks head-on, one of those tasks being his latest role as a Human Resources Director. I'd be lying if I told you I didn't entertain the idea of voting no to both of your retirements tonight. I first met Mrs. Here right here in this building some 15 years ago as a 6th grader. Even then I knew Mrs. Here was an advocate for the underdogs, the difficult students, the students that didn't have someone in their corner all the time. Since then, she has made significant impact on her students and their families as an assistant principal and principal in our district for many years. She continues to cultivate a healthy, family-oriented environment from Max Leuchter and now at Rossi. Today, I'm sad for our students and staff because they are losing a truly transformative leader, but I'm happy and excited for Mrs. Here, who has earned a well-deserved retirement. Congratulations, Carmi. Thank you for your decades of excellence and service to our students. Lastly, congratulations to Mrs. O'Donoghue, who has been promoted to principal of Menning School. We're looking forward to how you will improve morale and cultivate a healthy and productive working environment amongst the staff there, as well as support student achievement. Thank you all for coming this evening.
Mr. Bono.
I agree with everything Cedric just said. Excuse me. I'm a little under the weather, so I'm going to keep my comments short. Thank you to everybody. Have a great night for coming. Thank you, Director Schiff. Appreciate the report. Congratulations to all the retirements. It's a little late now, Cedric. You're probably already sick. Sorry. But thank you. Have a good night.
Mrs. Perez.
First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Mustarell. Let me tell you, you took a yeoman's job, and you and your team have done an amazing, amazing job. So thank you so much. Thank you very much. To Mrs. Donahue, it is apparent by the support you are receiving this evening that you are going to be a blessing to that school, to many schools. So we're looking forward to that. Thank you. That's all.
Mr. Rivera.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank the flag saluters from Durant School for coming out and leading us in the flag salute. A special shout out to my goddaughter Mia, who was a part of that group. Also like to congratulate the Gifted and Talented program. Having 2 boys that every Wednesday look forward to attending the program in 4th grade, I can tell that they're doing some great things in that program, and much appreciated to that team. Scott, to your team, thank you for putting together this budget. I know it's a lot of work, a lot of numbers, and a lot of long nights, but we appreciate the time and effort that you guys take to put this together. Congratulations to all the winter sports athletes, all the seniors. Our athletics program is one of the reasons why I say this school district is the best school district in New Jersey. And I don't care what anybody else says, that's what I say. I had the opportunity to read this week at Read Across America. That's always a fun event. Looking at the kids' faces as they smile as you try to read to 12, 13, 14, 15 4th graders or 3rd graders. It's always intimidating, but it's always fun. The CTE Fair, that's a great event. 2 years in a row I've been able to attend it. And again, another reason why we have the best school district in New Jersey. I look forward to being able to expand that program so we can offer even more opportunities for individuals and students that perhaps maybe college isn't what they want right out of high school. Maybe they want to do a trade. Maybe they want to make some money right out of high school. And I think it's a great idea and a great opportunity for us to expand that program in the future. Congratulations to our retirees. One day, I hope to reach that milestone. Got a long ways to go for that, but congratulations. Enjoy your retirement. Congratulations to Ms. O'Donoghue. You are part of that team already. You're part of that family. And it's always good when we could promote individuals from within our school district to continue that smooth transition. So congratulations. I know you're going to do great things over at Menny's. Yes. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the school year. The weather's warming up. The daylight's a little longer. So our spirits are lifted. So I'm glad to look. I'm looking forward to the rest of the school year and what's to come. So have a good night and thank you.
Mr. Harris, Mr. Sobrana asked if he could go next because, okay. Mr. Sobrana.
Good evening, everyone. Congratulations to our flag saluters, the presenters, especially Mr. Mustarell and his team. Also, our retirees who you mentioned, Mrs. Cottisbody, for their many years of service, and that is an impressive number. And of course, as always, we'll be looking for the best possible people to replace them. Not that they can be replaced, but at least to fill those positions that we most need. And also, I'm very, very sorry that I could not be there tonight to congratulate Mrs. Donahue on her appointment to the principalship at Menny's. It was something I really look forward to, and unfortunately, the state delayed their budget figures to us, and so my schedule got changed. But I'm really very, very pleased to see you. I remember you as a little girl in your dad's office at Vineland High School, and it gives me a great feeling of pride to see you stay with the district and reach this position. I know you're going to do a fantastic job, and I'm here to help you any way I can. And to everyone else, thank you, and I'll see you next week.
Mr. Harris.
Good evening, everyone. I want to say congratulations to the retirees. Congratulations on the promotion to the new principal. Mr. Du Bois, in particular, I want to say thank you. Congratulations on your retirement. You were a big help to me in my previous career. And moving on, I'm going to say, Carmi, Ms. Hare, congratulations on your retirement. I wish you well. You were a very big help to me in my previous career. I seen that you really went out of your way. You cared about the children, and I was very impressed when I got moved to that unit. I hope that other principals could learn from you and be as good as you were and care about the kids as much as you did. So whatever you decide to do in the future, if you decide to retire for 30 days like me and go back to work, I wish you the best. If you need anything from me, anything at all you have to do is reach out. I want to thank you for everything that I tried to do as a juvenile officer and beyond. You always supported me, and I always went out of my way to support you. So thank you and congratulations.
Mr. Silva.
Yes, I'd like to congratulate Ms. Donahue on your appointment. I'm looking forward to working with you and all the exciting work that you've been doing already in that building. Ms. Here, congratulations on your retirement. Wish you the best. I don't know exactly what you have planned, but like you said, hope you don't retire for 30 days and come back. Take some time off for yourself, enjoy life. Mr. Du Bois, congratulations on your retirement. I'd like to thank the flag saluters, all the special presentation. Mr. Schiff, thank you for highlighting the amazing stuff that we're doing in sports in our district. Mr. DeMarchi and your team, Mr. Martine, Ms. Manone, and the exciting job you guys are doing in the GNT program. Thank you. Have a good night.
Mr. Yano.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to begin by saying thank you to our board members who supported our Read Across America program. Many of our board members visited multiple schools and had opportunities to read to our students. It's always a hit when a board member makes it out. And it's always exciting for us in central office. My team was present as well, and we had an amazing time. Congratulations to Paul Myers, who was named this year's Starfish Award winner on February 6th, and Tiffany Ewan Magolda, who received the Child Study Team Case Manager Award of Excellence. On February 11th, we had the pleasure of attending the ribbon cutting ceremony for the Together Cafe at RCSJ. The ceremony was a chance to officially recognize the collaboration between the college's ACT program and the VHS RISE program. CTE Carnival, which was already spoken about, another amazing event. Had a great time there. Looking forward to what happens next year. Thank you to the high school team. for putting together an awesome day of activity for our students and for our visitors. We've also been meeting with our middle school and high school students around the last few weeks, around, our roundtable discussions. I want to thank Mr. Bermudez for holding it down with our high school students yesterday. And as always, we get a lot of insights from our students when we meet with them, hear them, and speak with them to learn about their experiences in our schools. We have a lot of events coming up. The Wall of Honor tomorrow, VHS, 6 p.m., Acelta Media Center, CPAC meeting, March 18th, the Pops concert, March 20th at 6 p.m. The 8th grade dialogue will be held here, March 26th, 5 p.m. Future Chef competition, April 2nd, always a hit with our school district, at Wallace School, 5 p.m. And the VHS Career Fair, April 4th, all day in the VHS Acelta building. On a quick note, just want to send a special shout out to Melanie Lavasone, Sylvia Morano, and Carmi here. Awesome principals who helped me when I entered and arrived in the school district. They are going to be very difficult to replace. Their experience is exceptional. Their positivity is always infectious, and we look forward to learning more about their next steps. I'm not sure. I know Carmi's already got some plans that I've heard about, so I'm not sure, she'll be sitting still for too long. And also to Jeff Du Bois, another awesome team player, team leader, really stepped up, came into filled some big shoes for us in central office. He's got some time to go, but we definitely appreciate the work that he's done in helping us sort out human resources and also being there as an exceptional guide to our principals who are out in the field. The experience that he has as a principal, as a supervisor, and now in central office, he's got it all, and we are going to have a major loss when he steps out. But we know he's going to be very happy, and his wife is going to be very happy. So if she's happy, he'll be happy. So we're excited for you, Mr. Du Bois, and thank you. That's it for tonight.
Can we still take our votes back and vote no for these retirees?
That I'll allow, yeah.
I'd just like to thank the Durand students. Coach Schiff, thank you for your presentation tonight. I'm looking forward to the next presentation. Our sports programs are just growing, and our student athletes, just from the numbers, are increasing. So I'm really proud of what's going on with our sports programs. Mrs. DeMarchi and your team, thank you for the presentation. It's great to see all the programs that we have and highlighted, and so that the other people in the public can see what we're doing. Mr. Mustarell and your team, thank you so much to everybody. I know how hard it is, and I know what a pain in the butt we are to you guys, especially when you told us it was going to be a 30-minute presentation tonight. So thank you for doing that for us. I had the opportunity to attend the CTE Carnival. What a great thing out there. I was so impressed with everything, and I'm just looking forward to the growth that's going to happen. I was able to read at several schools for Read Across America. Those children are so loving and so full of energy. A lot of hugs, a lot of, they just love to hug, and it was a great thing. Again, congratulations to all of you retirees, and thank you for everything that you've done. As Mr. Yano said and the other board members have said, it's going to be very hard to replace you. Mrs. O'Donoghue, congratulations. We are looking for great things from you, and I've only heard really, really good things, so thank you. And good luck. And with that being said, do I have a motion to adjourn? Adjourned.